My name is Schumacher. I'm a software engineer here at Microsoft. And I love what I do because it's different every day. It's an always evolving field. Every day is a different problem to solve, a different challenge to overcome. That keeps everything fresh. Can't think of a time I've ever been bored. It hits me every now and then when I drive into work and I get to drive by the Microsoft sign, just how big this company is and the opportunity, the amazing and how fortunate I am to be here, to have this opportunity. As far as three things, I would say that there's definitely you have to think logically in this field of programming. You have to be able to take a problem and break it up into smaller parts, smaller problems, and solve those smaller problems, and then eventually you come together to the big problem. That's a skill and a way of thinking that's definitely necessary in the field. Creativity does play a big role, though. There's even the simplest of problems, like that toe game I mentioned. There's 1,000 ways you can solve that, and they'd all be correct. They'd all accomplish the same thing. It'd just be a different way of doing it. Some of them would have different pros, some of them would have different cons. There's always that element of creativity in every problem you solve. It's never here's the problem, it's just straightforward, you follow these steps. It's always a winding path. There's always some creativity involved. And third, I would say just that desire to keep learning. Because in software, by the time you learn a new framework, by the time you learn a new platform, it's old. And there's a new one out there that's better in some way, and in this way, and that way. And you have to learn that one too. And so to have that mentality, that growth mindset, we call it here at Microsoft, to keep growing, to keep learning, to keep developing yourself is absolutely necessary in the field. Ironically, with software engineering, one of the skill sets I use every single day is the ability to write, whether it be emails, messages among my teammates. We work with engineers across the world. So there's time zone differences, there's cultural differences. Being able to communicate via an email or via a message over Teams is something that's hugely important in this field. That's hugely important regardless of the size of the company that you're working for in software engineering. Aside from that, definitely the programming aspect, two things, of course. There's a wide variety of different areas within software engineering. There's different levels within software engineering, within the software stack that is a software application. And each of those has a different skill set, a different focus, kind of a different emphasis, to the point where some software engineers, they call it the back end and the front end with the software application. The front end being the user interface, the things you click on in an application, if it's a mobile app, a web app of some sort. The back end being the database, where the data is stored. When you click that button, what happens? When you go to create an order on Amazon.com or something, what happens in the back end? How is that data stored? And those back end and front ends kind of comprise the full stack of the software. And those different levels of the stack are so different, and they have their own emphasis, their own complexities, that a lot of the time software engineers will pick one and focus on that. And here at Microsoft, I'm fortunate enough that I had the opportunity to work across that whole stack, on both the UI side of things, on the database side of things. And so I find myself every single day using various different skills from those different areas throughout my work. Just keep learning, I would say. That growth mindset that is really emphasized here at Microsoft. I really love that about this company. Just no matter what your field is, no matter what your profession, what your passions are, to just keep pursuing them. Keep pushing, keep learning, keep advancing and accomplishing and building, and everything will kind of fall into place after that.